This is XS Manchester. I'm Jim. This is the evening show. Delighted to be joined this evening by a musical legend, James Dean Bradfield from Manic Street Preachers. How you doing, James?
Not too bad, sir. Yourself?
Really good, thanks. Delighted to be talking to you about the brand new album, The Ultra Vivid Lament, which comes out on the 3rd of September. New single, Orwellian, which we're playing on XS Manchester, is out now. Before we get started, since we've started living our lives via Zoom, I've been fascinated by where people are when I'm talking to them, because you can't see them face to face. So where exactly are you at this moment in time?
I am sat at the west end of our studio in Caerleon, just outside of Newport, South Wales. I'm looking at a blank wall, but if I turn to my left, I can see a pre-Victorian stone brick wall that runs the length of our garden, looking up to the hills, which have some Welsh colt ponies grazing and some cows.
That's in keeping with how I'd imagine you'd be located, so that's good news.
Good.
Let's talk about the brand new tune. New tune, Orwellian, is out now, like I said. Now, as always with Manic Street Preachers music, great songs, but laced with a load of meaning and a load of history. I was wondering, what do you expect the average person on the street, the average man, the average Manic Street Preachers fan to take away from your music? Is it all about the songs, or do you want them to take something from the meaning, the deeper stuff as well?
There's no prerequisite to buy one of our records. There's not a set of instructions saying that this song must be applicable to your life. It must change your life. You must agree with it. I was very aware around about, well, since Motorcycle Emptiness, actually, you know, back in 1992, that some people just like the vibe, man. You know, they just like it. Sometimes they don't care about the line, culture sucks down words, itemize loathing, and feed yourself smiles. Sometimes that line goes right over their heads. And that continued to be designed for life. You know, the song starts with, libraries gave us power, then work came and made us free. Now, I think that line connected with a lot of people, but there were some people that didn't care about that line. So when you become a big band, which we did on Everything Must Go, you realise that sometimes some of the audience is just there because they think you're vibing, man, and that's it. And I've got no problem with that.
Talk to me about the brand new tune, Orwellian. I read in the PR for the single this sentence that says, the track is about the battling to claim meaning, the erasing of context and the debate, the overriding sense of factional conflict driven by digital platforms leading to the perpetual state of culture war, which reads like the kind of thing that might have come out of a film like The Great Dictator or something like that. If you were going to put that into layman's terms, simplify it for me. What does it mean?
I'm not sure about The Great Dictator, but number one, the title Orwellian, somebody might reach for the big brother cliche, and it's not at all, you know. Loosely, you might call about the double speak in Orwellian culture, or post-Orwellian kind of reality myth, where words become intractably linked with each other, but you don't quite know what they mean anymore. The loss of nuance, the loss of where people can actually say something and then they can be vilified by somebody actually just codifying their answer and finding something inherently evil in their words. You know, the fact that language has become so contentious, that the way that people have got to watch their words, manage their words, the way that people will take ownership of a theory and say that somebody else cannot say this or cannot quote a certain writer. The words have become a battlefield where you just see the far left and the far right just really battle over the use of words, and you go, wait, why don't you just have a battle over what you believe instead, or why don't you just have a battle over policy rather than words?
I love that line, words have become a battleground. Right, let's hear it. Brand new single from Manic Street Preachers from the forthcoming new album, The Ultra Vivid Lament. This is Orwellian, back with James Dean Bradfield in a moment. New music from Manic Street Preachers, that's Orwellian. I'm speaking to James Dean Bradfield on the XS Manchester Evening Show. That's the first single from the forthcoming new album. You referenced, before the album was released, you said, when you were asked what it was going to sound like, you said it was going to sound like The Clash playing ABBA, James. Are you standing by that analogy?
There's one song that particularly matches that. I'm sure some journalists are telling me that we're way off the mark. There you go, whatever. There is... It's really strange. A lot of guitar bands don't even have a sneaking admiration. They just have, out in the open, full-blown admiration for ABBA. So many guitar bands been trying to get that ABBA moment where you don't know if the emotion being conveyed is about loss or whether it's about happiness. You don't know whether the emotion is about sadness or happiness. You don't know whether it's, whether the song is trying to lift you up or if it's trying to cuddle you with empathy. Suddenly, we were playing this one song that had this very ABBA-esque chorus, but we thought we couldn't quite figure out how to tackle it. And then I think one of us just said, "Oh, let's just try and pretend to be the Clash doing an ABBA cover," and then it just clicked.
Like I say, it's 14th studio album, The Ultra Vivid Laments. I remember speaking to Nicky a few years ago now when you were releasing Futurology, and he was talking about a moment where he was contemplating his future in the band and the continuation of Manic Street Preachers at that point. How tight are the band now? No, I don't mean on stage and in terms of playing, in terms of professional. I mean, emotionally and professionally, how are the band?
Everything that's happened, bearing in mind, before lockdown, everything was quite messed up anyway. And of course, this is extraordinary what's happened, but I think that's it home to us, that being a band is not forever. You can kid yourself that it's forever, but it's not. So we know that, we're definitely closer to the end than we are the beginning, most definitely. We know that all these experiences now are very precious, whether they be playing gigs, whether they just be going to do some promo somewhere, they're things that, it could be the last time, it's kind of because, we're on our 14th album. That's pretty unheard of, really.
You can't say it'll be the last time. It's managed to...
No, but kind of... But
institutions, you can't remove that.
I think, but kind of, what happens if, say, there's another lockdown after all this, and that's another 2 years where you don't play concerts? By the time I'm going to be playing concerts, I'm going to be 55, So you can't take things for granted, How am I going to feel when I'm 55? Will I be able to sing as high as I can now? There's lots of practical, physical things of being in a band too. You're still singing the same songs that you were singing when you were 19, 20, 21. Sometimes your body tells you that, hey, what are you doing, son? I don't want to do that anymore. It hasn't happened yet, but it might happen,
Well, fingers crossed, lockdowns permitting, we see you on the 2nd of October when you're playing Manchester Apollo. Before you go, it was a big anniversary recently for you guys, 25th anniversary of Everything Must Go. I know the focus is on the new album, but I thought we'd finish this interview today by you picking a tune off what is undoubtedly a classic album. And also, did you celebrate it in any way? It was a couple of weeks ago now. Did you pour yourself a glass of wine, sit back and listen to the whole thing or anything like that? I mean, how do you deal with an anniversary like that?
The only thing I've ever celebrated with the band was when we had a number one with If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next, which was off the album after This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours. And we were in Dublin, and we learnt on the Sunday morning that we were number one. And I went to the front of the bus, and I had a nice cup of coffee on my own and called my mum and dad. and that was the only time I ever felt like I'd celebrated something we'd done. But a couple of people told me that it was the 25th anniversary. It's a definitely special time because it was a bittersweet time because everything was after Richey's disappearance. It was without him, and I thought he would have loved the spectacle of something like Design for Life, which starts with the lines, libraries give us power, then we'll give him but it's free. I thought you'd have loved that nearly being number one. I mean, we were just 1,000 or so off being number one. Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac was number one. I don't hold it against him at all after all these years. And I just thought he would have loved that moment because it was a slightly subversive moment of having that lyric nearly being number one. I look back on that time and think, wow, we were so lucky. We went through trauma and then we were given another chance, and I'll always respect the fates for doing that, giving us that chance, definitely.
Well, Design for Life seems like a perfect way to end this chat. James, good luck for the new album. What we've heard sounds absolutely brilliant. The little album teaser sounds really exciting as well. Pleasure to speak to you on XS Manchester.
Cheers, man. Take it.